This is some of the few things I have left of my sons. This is some baby clothes. You think back and you've got your first child and you have such high hopes. And, for that little period of time, everything seems just perfect. And it just seems like the world is going your way. Then reality sets in.
Mr. Faust, you're going to be executed a week from today, is that correct?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Fine. Feel good about it.
People are never going to raise a sociopath, an antisocial sociopath like I did.
I want to get this done. And pretty much at that point, I had already made up my mind to more or less to kill it.
How do I explain that kind of a feeling where I would think I created a monster? How do I explain that to somebody? Maybe I need a little break here. I'm sorry. This is, of course, a picture of him with his mother. He was an only child. When I met Aaron's mother, I was about 20 years old. I was in my senior year of college. Initially, she seemed excited about having a child, but it seemed like things started to change pretty quick. She just seemed to be having some issues with being a mother. After his mother has left, we're divorced. You just don't get the sense that he's happy. I just kept telling him how much I love him, and that doesn't change. That's never going to change. I did all I could as a father. At that point, you just can't even begin to imagine that some kind of terrible experience is just waiting around the corner for you. You have no clue. In my presence, there was almost never any kind of a problem. It was always 5 minutes out of my presence when the bad things would happen. I would take my son to a babysitter during the day when I had to work. She's a very sweet Christian lady. When he started with the babysitter, I didn't see any problem. But I remember one time picking him up from the babysitter.
What's wrong?
Robert, I'm not really sure how to explain this.
And the babysitter said she had caught Aaron strangling the cat.
There must be some misunderstanding. Maybe he was just playing with her.
He wasn't playing.
He had the cat around the neck and was choking it, and the cat had scratched him.
This is alarming behavior. I am very worried about your son. I think he might need help.
The cat was ultimately okay. He didn't kill the cat, but I was very disturbed that he would harm a cat.
Aaron, come here.
Aaron, why did you do this? Why would you strangle a cat?
You want to tell me what happened?
I don't know, I just wanted to, I guess.
You couldn't get an answer from me. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know. Nothing. He just chose to pick the cat up and strangle it for no apparent reason.
Erin, tell her you're sorry.
I'm sorry I hurt your cat.
I was trying to be as good a parent as I knew how to be and understand what was going on in his mind.
I'm so sorry about this. I'm gonna talk to him and make sure this never happens again. Let's go.
There was never any understandable explanation for anything he did. So, how do you correct the problem? It just seemed like he was not your typical little boy. I remember he was about 6 years old. One morning I get up about 6:30 and it's my routine to wake him up, get him ready for breakfast and ready for school, and I walk into his room and he's not in his room. So I start looking around and I don't see him anywhere.
Erin, where are you?
I look outside the door and I see him in the backyard. And he is sitting lotus style with his legs crossed in the doorway of the doghouse. And he's just sitting there like in a trance. It's about 40 degrees outside. It's wintertime.
Erin!
I don't know how long he'd been out there. So I go out and grab him and slap him a couple of times on his bare bottom and ask him again, what are you doing?
What are you doing out here? It's freezing.
Don't you know that you could hurt yourself? You could kill yourself if you get cold enough. And again, getting no answer. It happened several times over a week or so. It was a point where I was really questioning whether or not he was normal.
How long have you been sitting out there?
You first thought it would be mentally ill, brain tumor, but he wasn't showing signs of being sick in any way. He more or less was very healthy otherwise.
Is something wrong? Are you feeling okay?
I honestly wondered, and I know how crazy this sounds, but I wondered if he wasn't even demon-possessed.
Why don't you go get dressed? I don't want you to be late for school, okay?
You have to wonder. A few weeks after that incident, 6:30 in the morning, I answer the phone.
Hello?
And man says, do you know where your child is? I thought, what kind of a crazy question is this?
Who is this?
I said, yes, I do. He's in bed asleep. Just didn't occur to me to think that he wouldn't be. Said, go check. I put the phone down and I walk into his bedroom and he's not in his bed. It's a very upsetting situation to be in. If your child is missing, I mean, what parent wouldn't be concerned, upset, wondering, have they been kidnapped? What's going on? You have no idea at that point.
Where's my son?
I honestly didn't know if I'd ever see him again or not. I answer the phone, and man says, do you know where your child is?
Who is this?
So now, it's like panic. What's going on? Is this kidnapper calling,
Where's my son?
And he says, well, I'm an off-duty police officer, and your son is sitting on my front porch in his pajamas.
Okay, I'll be here. Thank you.
At least Erin was okay at that point. So the police had a car pick him up, and they brought him back.
Aaron, I'm so glad you're okay.
Sir, I'm glad your son is safe. Do you understand I gotta file a report? It's a very serious matter.
And he says if this happens again, your son will be taken away from you.
Child Services is gonna have to get involved.
To be threatened with that, you feel like a failure, total failure as a parent, that you're such a bad parent that they want to take your child away from you.
Yes, I understand. Thank you so much for bringing him home, officer.
And I have a very long talk with him. Do you understand how dangerous this is, what you're doing?
I don't understand. What were you thinking?
But it was always the same with Aaron, that you could never get an answer. Why did you do this?
Something bad could happen to you. You understand what I'm saying?
You just, for the most part, get a blank stare. Might as well be looking at that wall there and trying to get an answer from that wall. Just about as easy.
I just don't want you to get hurt. Okay? Why don't you go inside? I'll make us some breakfast, okay?
There was definitely a fear that, this was going to keep escalating and just not knowing what was coming next. There was never a point in school that there wasn't something occasionally happening where there's just causing a disturbance in the classroom or getting in a fight. It was just a routine. Regularly going to the school to talk to a principal about the latest thing my son had done. On one occasion, Aaron had caught a bully picking on a smaller kid, and my son stepped up and took care of the situation.
Yes, of course fights happen in school, Mr. Faust. But Aaron took this much too far.
And he caught the kid after school and beat him so hard that he broke a bone in his hand, beating him to a pulp.
A student was seriously hurt.
It's taking it too far when you break a bone in your hand beating on somebody.
You understand what you did wrong, right?
He's a bully. He deserves to be hit.
You try to guide them the right way. You try to teach them right from wrong. And you tell them there's punishment if they don't do that.
If something like this happens again, there will be disciplinary action.
But in the case of Aaron, that never seemed to have any effect.
I'll make sure this doesn't happen again. We'll finish this conversation later. Right now we need to get you to the hospital and get your wrist checked out.
He had no shame about saying that he was beating up a bully. He was going to do whatever he felt he had to do at that moment, regardless of consequences, regardless of whether it was right or wrong. He was going to do it. I've tried from early on and tried everything to make a difference, and I couldn't. There were no practical answers to what was going on. I took him to 3 psychiatrists, and of course they'll tell you they can't diagnose you till you're about 18 because kids, they go through so many crazy things that you can contribute to just growing up.
But nothing's changed. He hasn't gotten better. I just don't know what else to do.
Out of the 3 psychiatrists we went to, it's just nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Mr. Faust, please be patient. This is perfectly normal behavior.
No, I really think there's something wrong with him.
They never gave me any kind of an answer.
You have nothing to worry about. I'm sure he'll grow out of this.
I don't think they had a clue what was going on any more than I did. had gone to so many trials with my son, so many frustrations of never having an answer as to what was going on, and the frustration of seeing things get worse and the craziness. At that point, I was somewhat desperate, because if he's this bad at this age, what is it going to be like when he reaches adulthood? I was just seeing an adult that would be a very dark person, the kind of person that might murder somebody. It's not something I like to bring up, but, there was a thought that maybe I'm so frustrated and just want to give up. And maybe I should just commit a murder-suicide. I mean, that's hard to say. You're talking about your child that you love. But I had a vision of things being so bad. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to be responsible for, like turning the Antichrist loose on the world or something, It was a very dark experience. After that brief thought, that was a turning point for me, where I said, I'm going to have to turn this over to God. And I prayed. I said, God, I'm turning my child over to you. I just pray that you keep him safe till he comes to Christ, because I want to be able to spend eternity with him. So I turned him over to God. I didn't know anything else to do. That was like taking some medicine for me and got the dark images and thoughts out of my head. But you can't help but wonder, where's this going to end? He doesn't look like somebody who's going to be murdering somebody. When Aaron was 14, problems began to get even more serious, to the point that he was arrested for the first time for attempting to steal a car. Okay, now we're taking it to another level. This is really getting way beyond just getting in a fight at school.
Aaron, why do you keep doing these things?
He didn't have a lot of explanation for what was going on. Were you really trying to steal a car? And I wasn't getting much of an answer. If anything, you might have been a little bit proud.
I was just trying to have a little fun.
Hey, there's other ways to have fun besides stealing a car.
Relax, Dad. You're overreacting.
90% of the children out there, they would probably feel some degree of remorse, but I couldn't see any of that.
It's really not a big deal.
What's next on the list? Is he gonna break into a jewelry store? He's gonna rob a bank at gunpoint? Who knows?
Can we just get out of here already?
I thought he should be punished. Just send him to juvenile detention. Punish him for what he did. But the judge said, okay, we're going to give you 1 year of probation. As long as you stay out of trouble during that year, you will not have to go to juvenile detention. Behave yourself, get out of our court. Bye. And that was done. By the time he was 15, there was just always seemed like something going on, just continually. He was in an altercation at school.
You care to explain yourself?
And he had the knife on him.
Did they actually call you in because of that?
Of course they did. This is a serious matter.
And I think the security guard had seen it. And so he broke the fight up and found the knife on Aaron.
Do you know how dangerous this is? Whatever. I wasn't gonna hurt anyone.
I don't think I had any answers as to where he got it from, or what he was doing with it.
We have been over this before, Aaron.
What's the problem? It's not like it was a gun or anything.
No.
Did he care? No. At that point, I was somewhat desperate because things were sort of escalating from when he was younger.
You know what? They're always trying to bust me for something, and you're always giving me a hard time when I haven't done anything wrong. I'm so sick of this.
I couldn't trust him by himself to sit around and worry about the next what might happen, what if this. I didn't want to spend my life playing that game. And I really didn't have anybody locally that I could count on. The only thing I could think of was to have him go live with his mother in Iowa. And she agreed. This is a picture of Aaron when he was, I believe, 14 years old. And, he looks very happy in this picture. Anybody, I think, looking at this picture would say this is just probably a wonderful child that grew up to have a wonderful life. And there's just nothing about this that says, okay, I'm a psychopath. You just don't see it. You look at that and you wonder, how could he be like this one moment, and the next moment he's like somebody completely different? He's not even the same person. But, of course, knowing what I know now, that's true of most sociopaths. They say they can be very likable people. And at the same time, they're very dangerous people. This would be when he's 18, when he had the 2-county high-speed chase in Iowa. And a cop had come up behind him. He was going a little fast or something, so he decided he would simply outrun the cop. He was thrown in jail for 3 months. It was during that time that a psychiatrist had diagnosed him as an antisocial sociopath. Then once he was released, he came back to the Fort Worth area. He was open about it. He was honest about it. He didn't try to hide that from me. He said that they were trying to put him on some real bad medicine.
Aaron, what are those?
Just some pills the doctor gave me.
And of course, Aaron, he wasn't going to take the medicine unless they absolutely crammed it down his mouth. He was not going to take it.
Shouldn't you be taking these?
It's not that I'm not going to take them.
Aaron was 18 at this point. He was an adult on his own. That was his choice. So while, yes, it answered a lot of questions about why did he do this? Why did he act this way? Why was he always getting into trouble? It didn't change the fact that he was going to probably continue to have problems and get in trouble. But to this point, a lot of what he did mainly just hurt him. And so I wasn't dwelling on the idea that, okay, he's going to probably kill somebody soon. Aaron had reached the point where he had a stable job, he had his own apartment, he had a girlfriend, and it seemed like things were finally becoming stable and like he had suddenly turned the corner and now he's acting like an adult, a responsible adult, and going to do something with his life. It seemed like things were on the right path finally. But there was that dark side. There was always the dark side. Aaron called me, and he was having an argument with his girlfriend.
So sick of you.
When I got over to Aaron's apartment, he was so worked up.
Make her stop!
And he had a shotgun in one hand, holding the shotgun, waving it.
Make her shut up!
He was having an argument with his girlfriend, and he had a shotgun in one hand, holding the shotgun, waving it. It was just crazy the way she was yelling and carrying on, and why don't you go ahead and shoot me?
Take your shotgun and shoot me.
Shut up!
Just aggravating him to the point, he was getting really riled up.
What do you think you're gonna do? You think you're gonna shoot me?
I'm starting to lose control, but he's doing everything in his power to resist doing anything to her. He doesn't want to harm her. He cared about her.
You are such a coward. You won't even do it.
And she is continuing to shout things at him. I was concerned that if I didn't calm the situation down, it's not going to end well.
Shut
Come
up!
on, shoot me already, damn it!
Stop it!
Aaron.
I finally talked him down some, got him to put the gun down.
Just give me the gun, okay? It's fine.
I just told him he needed to leave and go to a friend's house and spend the night. Just get out of that situation. And finally talked him into leaving in the car and going elsewhere. And so things, worked out, luckily. I don't know what would have happened had I not gotten over there. I'd never seen him like that, it was crazy. He would sometimes, come by and we'd have little conversations. And on one particular occasion, he was with another guy. They almost looked like twins. Both had leather vests on. They looked like they both belonged to a biker gang.
Well, yeah, we gotta get going, right? But thanks for the drinks.
Is this so soon? Where are you guys going?
I asked him what they were doing.
We gotta get to work.
Oh, yeah? What do you boys do?
He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he had explained that he was making extra money, doing some collection work for people. He was very casual about it.
Hey, let's get out of here. It's good to see you, Pops.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
And of course, I didn't know at that time what was going on.
You stay safe, okay?
But most of the people my son came in contact with were just drug dealers. When they had anybody that owed money and that wasn't paying it, then they would call up Aaron to go by and see this person. And, it's one of those things where, if you didn't pay the bill, you might have a broken bone. Of course, I know this now. I didn't know that then. I knew, I think, just enough to, suspect things. And I don't have, anywhere near the control over him that I had when he was younger and he lived under my roof. On one occasion, he had been in a bar and a guy was harassing a lady and he beat him up and he was thrown in jail for 2 days to see if the guy would press charges. I had made the comment about if you don't stay out of bar fights, you'll get killed. He said, Dad, I can't be killed.
You don't get it, Dad. I'm invincible.
I said, what do you mean? And he would tell me a story.
All right. Other day I'm in a bar, right?
He says, well, I was collecting some money and the guy pulled out some kind of automatic weapon like an Uzi. And he said he just started firing back and forth like this, just going back and forth.
And he just starts spraying. Bullets are flying everywhere. People are ducking left and right.
And my son wasn't shot. He wasn't scratched, not anything. Like he was like one of these superheroes, like a Superman or somebody. And that's where the story ended.
I just can't get hurt.
It was like a lot of his stories where he would tell me something about something he got into, but he had never finished the story, like to say, well, I killed that person. The story would never get to that final step.
I'm bulletproof.
Is he making up stories to impress his dad that he's a tough kid? I don't know. At this point, I did not have any details that I could provide to law enforcement. I didn't know dates, locations, names. I just prayed that God keep him alive till he came to Christ. There were a lot of times where I just said, God's in charge. That was the one thing that over and over again kept me sane. I asked him, had there been others? And he said yes.
I want to get this done. And pretty much at that point, I had already made up my mind to more or less kill it.
It was May 20th, 1997, my 48th birthday, and I got a call from my ex-wife.
Hello?
And she said that the police had been looking for Aaron.
What happened?
And that they had arrested him. And that was about the extent of what she could tell me. It was the next day that he actually called me from jail to tell me him and his friend had been arrested for murder. The victim, his name was David Ward.
Co-workers and police found Ward's body inside his master bedroom.
The 43-year-old hospital administrator was bound, hands and feet, with what appeared to be stereo speaker wire.
I'd spent my whole life wondering what's going to happen next. Am I going to get a call from the police? Is he going to be arrested again? You know, it was like the ultimate culmination of all these things that from early on had just been building and building and building like a volcano getting ready to blow up.
Police say David Ward had socialized with 25-year-old Aaron Faust in nightclubs. And according to police, Faust and 21-year-old Jamal Brown had been chatting with Ward Sunday night when they demanded money and then overpowered him.
I had hoped that while he still might get in trouble for various stupid things he did, that it wouldn't get to that extreme.
They allegedly took Ward's car and used his credit cards in Irving and at a restaurant in South Arlington, where an alert employee tipped police. Police say each man was arrested after confessing to his part in the murder.
It was just very upsetting to think your only son now would be on trial for murder.
Why did you decide to kill Mr. Ward, Mr. Faust?
There's a few reasons, basic reasons, because I wanted to.
Why did you want to kill him?
He did owe me a debt, some money. I didn't like his attitude in general.
I've never seen the video, but I basically knew that. He didn't try to cover it up. He didn't try to say I'm innocent. He was pretty straightforward about what happened.
He had a stuck-up, snobby attitude. And I was just, at that point, I just didn't care. It was something to do.
We're talking about a sociopath, and if you look up the definition of a sociopath, I think one thing it'll say is remorseless.
I grabbed David Ward in the chokehold and, choked him. And,
why'd you choke him?
This is a picture taken in prison while he's on death row. He spent less than a year on death row.
Mr. Faust, you're going to be executed a week from today, is that correct?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
Fine. Feel good about it.
Have you made peace with yourself?
Yes.
I got to see him the day before the execution. He was now a born-again Christian. I spent several hours talking with him. I wanted to know the whole story. This is the final day. I'm never going to talk to you again until we meet again. And I wanted to know the full story. Had there been others? And he said yes.
How many?
Look, Dad, I don't know. Not exactly.
He was talking about the only people he was harming were drug dealers. And he said, I don't know how many I killed. I said, I have no idea. I don't know if they lived or died. I didn't care.
They got what was coming.
It's a pretty heavy thing to have to hear your son describe. Who knows, he might have killed 20 people, but we don't even know. I don't really know how to describe it. It was very heavy, a dark thing to have to hear your son last day you're with him. This is a poem that was Aaron sent to me in a letter. It was the Father's Day, June 1997. I don't know if I can get through this. It's Father's Day. Your only son is locked away. Won't be home till he's old and gray. All my life I've never been able to keep a friend, but Dad, you've been true blue. You've been true blue to the bitter end. My life was full of sadness, and my mind clouded with madness. But when it's all said and done, I'm laid to rest. I hope you know you did your best. Last thing we said to each other was, I said, I love you, son, and he said, I love you, Dad. I knew I would miss my son, and I do. I still miss him. You can't help but feel like, am I to blame for this kind of thing happening? Did I do something wrong? Did I not do enough? But at the same time, I didn't want to spend my life playing that game. You just have to move on. I don't know if you can hope for more than that. You never know. There may be just one person out there that'll see this and say, oh, I now know what is going on with my child. We can learn from our mistakes, and we can use those same things to help other people if we're willing.
On the way up here to do this, I was saying how it was the perfect day to discuss him, because it's a horrible day. It's rainy and foggy and gloomy. It's crummy. And it suits him. It's the type of person he was. If there's people out there that say they don't believe in evil, it exists. And it lives inside that man. used to watch these movies on TV all the time about these battered women. And I would sit there and holler at the TV, just leave. I made it in my head seem like it would be so easy. When I became one of those women, it wasn't. No one knows what it's like behind the closed doors. And you can watch horror movies and think, it's never gonna happen to me, but it does. And when it does, you're living your own nightmare. Before I met Anthony, I was married. I had 3 daughters. Me and my ex had a rocky relationship. We had split up, and I was pregnant with my 4th daughter, whose father wasn't in the picture. I met Anthony through mutual friends, and we hit it off, and he took great to the kids. He was so sweet. Seeing him interact with my girls, to me that was amazing, because my kids are my life. To see someone do something like that, they had to have a heart. I introduced Anthony to some of my family.
All she says is Anthony, Anthony, Anthony.
Oh, well, that's a good thing to hear.
My aunt, she was telling me about rumors that she had heard.
I've been hearing some stuff about Anthony that's not great.
Come on, just a bunch of old girlfriends talking garbage.
There was rumors that he was abusive, that he liked to hit. The biggest rumor was that he couldn't be around kids. Anthony was on the sex offender registry. From watching him with my kids and his demeanor with us, it was hard to believe that he would ever be capable of doing anything to anybody.
I want to play hide and go seek.
You want to play hide and go seek?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
That can't be right. You need to be careful.
And I remember not listening to her. But I did stop for a minute and thought, if this is true, if he can't be around kids, this is it. You know, I want my kids safe. I needed to get to the bottom of it. I needed to know the truth. I had moved into a home that I was renting, and he was traveling back and forth visiting. When we got home, I confronted Anthony.
What's up?
Are you not supposed to be around kids?
His face went sober. It was like there was no expression.
That's something that happened a long time ago.
Anthony told me that it was a misunderstanding. His explanation was, yes, he had done something when he was younger. Something had happened consensual between him and a younger girl.
And we were just kids. She told me she was older than she actually was.
But the mom pressed charges because the girl was under a certain age. He downplayed it. He made it seem like it was someone else's fault. Like he didn't do anything wrong.
She was okay with everything. I'll call my doctor, who I was seeing back then. He'll tell you the truth.
At this point, Anthony had called a psychiatrist, a major psychologist in Bangor. To this day, I can't remember his name.
This is Anthony Lore.
And I remember him putting on the speakerphone. And I remember Anthony asking him specifically, can I be around kids? Is there anything wrong with me being around kids?
I understand your concerns, Chief, but I can assure you, you have absolutely nothing to worry about.
And I remember that psychiatrist telling me that there wasn't any issue, that he could be around kids. And I remember talking to him about it and saying, I'm so sorry that I even doubted you for a second. And he said, it's okay. He assured me over and over that that was fine. That was what mothers do. And I remember him always saying, you're a good mom. You did what any mother would do. One day, my biological father had come over to visit. We're sitting in the living room, and my father is telling me about these rumors that he'd heard about Anthony being abusive. Dad, I've heard it all before.
You need to listen. These are your children's lives.
I know, Dad, I understand that. And Anthony had come over to visit.
What's going on here?
I'm talking with my daughter. Is that okay with you?
Actually, that's not okay with me.
And at that point, all hell broke loose.
I'm not going to leave my grandkids with a child molester.
I remember my biological father calling Anthony a pedophile and hoping and praying that Anthony didn't swing.
I don't want you around my family. I don't care what you want.
Because if it got physical, my dad wouldn't have had a chance. And I remember Anthony saying, don't ever come back here again. And I remember my dad turning, looking at me, and the look on his face was just worry. And he left. When it came to my family and their opinions of Anthony, I was mad. I was mad that they couldn't see how happy the girls were, how happy I was in the beginning. Anthony had told me to not have contact with my father ever again. I didn't need the rest of my family. I just needed him. I chose Anthony over my family. I did. I didn't have anything to do with my family for the longest time. I was living in kind of a rough area. There had been a couple break-ins on the other side of town, and it was a little scary being a single mom with 3 little girls. So one night when I had put the kids to bed, I had called Anthony to say goodnight. Just wanted to call and say goodnight.
Wait, don't hang up.
When I went to hang up the phone, he had told me, leave it on speakerphone so I can make sure you're safe. If I hear any noises or whatever, I can call the cops. Leave the phone on throughout the night. I'd lay the phone down, and I'd put it by my pillow, and if I get up in the middle of the night to go pee, I could hear the TV on the other end. After the first night, it just became a routine. It became something I'd do every night before I went to bed. Looking back now, I see that that was one of the first red flags that I should have seen. He had to have full control, even when he wasn't around. But at the time, it seemed innocent. It seemed like he just wanted to make sure that we were safe. At that point, I was like, you just move in. You can make sure we're safe and you can be here. I thought it was the right thing to do. I thought it was gonna make me happier. I thought it was gonna make the kids happier, and I thought he was gonna be happy. I thought I was making the right decision. Never in a million years did I ever think he'd allow something like that to happen. When he first moved in, I felt safe, I felt secure. I felt like we had a cute little family. It's like a joke. Looking at this picture, you see a happy little family. The Anthony in this picture is the good Anthony, the happy Anthony, not the evil side. It's not how he really was, but this is how he portrayed himself to everybody else. jealous from the beginning of my ex-husband and Madeline's father. He wanted to be the father figure.
Did you have fun with Daddy? Yeah?
One day, Madeline's father had come over to visit.
I want a popsicle.
No, Maddie, I had enough sugar already. You know what? You deserve a popsicle. Go on. Come on, man.
And Madeline's father had told him, you may live there, but you're not her father. And at that point, Anthony lost it.
How'd you get lost?
And his eyes, it was like they were glazed over. It was a scary look, just maniacal. And it kind of scared me because it was a side of him that I'd never seen before. I remember him telling Maddie's father that he knows where he could hide a body and they'd never find it.
No one will be able to find you. I swear to God, you won't ever see your daughter again.
I remember looking at Maddie's dad and just enough's enough.
Just, please calm down. Don't push it.
It was like he conquered Maddie's father. It was all about control and jealousy. Anthony was off on that. My ex-husband had found out a lot of the details about Anthony's past. When we got into court, I had found out that Anthony had molested his 6-month-old niece. I got in a fight with him that night. And I'm not a confrontational person. I'm not a fighter. But I wanted to kill him.
You said it was some girl you knew almost your age? It was your niece.
No one like that should be alive. No one should be able to hurt someone that little.
6 months old?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anthony told me that if I loved my family and I was smart, I wouldn't leave. Your grandparents are old. They wouldn't be able to fight me off.
You will not go anywhere.
Your aunt and uncle live away from everybody. No one would hear a gunshot. My father could disappear. And they'd never find bones.
No one would ever be able to find them.
I remember smacking him. And I learned never to do that again. I learned in that moment, you did what he wanted. If you didn't, you were gonna hurt.
If you ever leave, I will track you down.
Anthony told me that I would never be able to hide from him.
There is nowhere on earth you could go to get away from me.
Who would miss you anyways? And then I thought about my kids. I knew deep down that if I left, he was gonna come after me. I truly believed that it could be fatal if I left. Madeline was allowed to stay. Her father wasn't fighting for her. So Madeline was allowed to stay in the home. One night we had a get together at the house, and Anthony had some friends over that I'd never met before. We were just sitting in the living room having a few drinks. And they had more ideas than just drinking. I remember getting up to go to the bathroom. And coming back. And I remember Anthony saying, "You're his." And I remember getting pushed over on the arm of the couch. And Anthony's friend got to have his way with me, and it didn't matter if I said stop or no. Anthony enjoyed seeing me in pain. Never in a million years, as possessive and controlling as he was, did I ever think he'd allow something like that to happen. I remember him laughing about it. And I remember him telling me that I was his and I would do whatever he said. After that night, I started to think about different options on how to get out. But then thought about the consequences of it and just didn't dare make a move. Just got worse after that. Not long after that night, Anthony wanted someone else to be a part of the relationship, I guess. There's these sites that you get on online. He'd sit there and pick out what he wanted. Like a grocery store.
There's a room upstairs for you. You want to put your stuff down?
Okay, great.
All right.
What is this?
Cindy's going to be staying with us for a little while.
I'm not into this.
I expressed the fact that that wasn't me. That wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted.
You didn't seem to have a problem with it the other night.
But Anthony had told me that I should be okay with bringing another person into the relationship because I let his friend have sex with me and I didn't do anything more to stop it.
I'm going to go check on her. See how she's doing.
He just wanted two girlfriends, I guess. At first, I thought maybe it'd take some of the attention off me.
Jamie, get in here right now!
Multiple times, I wished it would just end. Multiple times, I wish I could just die. When she came and she moved in with us, I'd never been in that position.
Come on, Jamie.
I remember being in the bedroom. He wanted me to watch and have sex with the two of them.
That's it? That's my girl?
And I remember at one point, he told her to hit me.
I need you to hit her.
And she acted like she was gonna do it to make him happy. I can't. She stopped herself and she didn't hit me. He realized that he didn't have full control over her and she wasn't gonna sit there and hurt me for his satisfaction.
You need to get out of here.
So he was ready for her to leave. She walked out that door and she never looked back. I was envious that she got to leave. He let her go. I didn't have that option. He had told me that everything that you do, you don't do without me. We shower together. If I went into the bathroom, he would follow me in the bathroom. I was not allowed to talk to my mother unless it was on speakerphone. But sometimes I'd sneak in calls. Hey, Mom. There was one phone conversation that I had with my mom that sticks out.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, we're doing okay. Anthony's out.
He had come home that day. And I was terrified when I heard the door open. It's like you're paralyzed in the moment. I didn't know what to do.
Jamie, can you hear me? Hello? Jamie?
And all I could hear my mom saying was Jamie. Jamie.
Jamie.
And there was a mop bucket that I hadn't emptied yet. And he took my phone. And just dropped it in the water. So for the better part of a month, if not longer, I had no contact with anybody. No one. He really didn't let me go get a job. All the money that came in, he had control of it. I was under his thumb. And that's how it was. Total control. Brittany Irish had been a friend of Anthony's, and I had met her a couple times. Anthony had always had a crush on her. He had told me they were just friends, but ultimately I knew something was going on, more than just friends.
I'll be home after work. The kids are asleep, Jane will be asleep. All right.
They were very hands-on with each other. It wasn't just a hug. It was more of an embrace. It was something you do with someone that you were in a relationship with. I didn't care. I thought multiple times that he may become obsessed with Brittany and become so obsessed that he'd let me go. That would be my out. Me and my daughter could just leave and we'd be free of him. Oh, here you go. We were on the deck one day. Brittany, Anthony, myself. Anthony had made this huge declaration.
You know what? We should have kids.
I got plenty.
Well, I meant both of you.
Me and Brittany kind of looked at each other and just chuckled. Like, you're joking, right?
You both should have my kids.
But he wasn't joking. He was really serious. This is what's gonna happen. And we were supposed to go by it.
Damn it, Jamie!
Anthony became irate with me, and the next thing I remember, I was at the bottom of the stairs. Brittany hadn't stayed with us very long. She left and went back with Kyle, her ex. I think they'd worked things out and wanted to make it work for their children. Him not being able to have control of Brittany, I think that's what threw him over the edge. Almost every day there was going to be a beating. Without a doubt. Some days not as bad as the others. But it still happened.
Damn it, Jamie!
One day, he had been agitated, and I remember feeling something on my lower back. And the next thing I remember, I was at the bottom of the stairs. I went to stand up, and I couldn't stand up. My foot was shattered.
Anthony, please.
Get up.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
I can't. It's broken. Anthony became irate with me when I said I couldn't stand up. He told me I was faking. He kicked my foot, and when he kicked it, I could hear it crunch. And it was the most excruciating pain I have ever felt in my life. But he smiled when he kicked it. There was no remorse. There was no feeling sorry for me. When we arrived at the hospital, Anthony says she tripped on her pant legs. And the doctor looked at me. He asked me if I felt safe at home. Of course, I said yes. I knew better than to show any signs of me looking for help. I knew there'd be consequences to pay. And as time went on, the beatings got worse. And at the end of it, you just wish you could curl up and die. A couple of times I thought I was going to, but I didn't. I truly believed I was in hell. I dreaded waking up in the morning. I thought about killing him multiple times. I thought it would end my misery. He wouldn't be able to hurt anybody else. But I didn't have it in me. I could never follow through with anything like that. He seen money signs when I said it. I could see his eyes light up, like he was gonna have more money. I became more hopeful that I'd have a way out if I was earning my own money. My plan was to have saved up enough money and at that point, leave. Well, he was gone. Maddie was at the babysitter's. I knew I could do it. That night, I was 10 minutes late getting out of work. That's all. Just 10 minutes. Anthony was mad, and he said, "You need to get in here right now, you cow."
Get in here right now!
And I knew that it wasn't gonna be good. Sorry. He grabbed me by the throat and slammed me up against the door to go outside. And I remember everything fading, getting blurry. And then I remember waking up on the floor, hearing Maddie crying. Mommy! So I grabbed Maddie, and I told Maddie to run. Baby, we gotta go now. And I got her, we got next door. The neighbors opened the door, and we got inside, and they were dialing 911. And the guys whose house it was, he didn't know what was gonna happen. But he was gonna make sure that he protected his home and protected us until the cops arrived. Okay. Anthony kind of stood there and looked at us for a minute and was saying, "You need to come back. Don't you do this."
Jamie, come on. You don't know what you're doing. You're making a mistake.
I'm not.
Jamie!
I did know what I was doing. He was scared and said, I know you're gonna leave. And turned around and went back into the house. And I remember thinking, that was too easy. What now? The cops came, and to see them turn him around and make him put his hands behind his back and see him handcuffed, it was the best day of my life. It was over. I remember begging judge to lock him away and not let him out. And he got 3 months. And the judge told me that per cases relating to domestic violence, that's the average time that's awarded. A temporary restraining order was granted for me and the kids. And I laughed in their faces and said, what is that piece of paper gonna do? Just a piece of paper, it's not gonna stop him. He was gonna come after us. I knew he was. That was just what he was gonna do. There's an incoming call and I answer it. It's my aunt saying, where are you? Are you safe? Are you safe? And he's gone on a rampage. After he was released, no matter where I went, no matter what I did, it seemed like he was there. He would drive past the house, back and forth. He would across the road and stare at me. I would contact the police. The police would tell me it's a public road, they can't stop him. He was within the frame of so many feet. Anthony was walking a thin line. He knew the boundaries, and he stayed right at the edge of those boundaries. It got so bad that when I would come home from work, I would make sure the windows were locked. I would pull the shades. And I had 3 locks on every door. Every little noise, I never knew if it was just the neighbors next door or he was trying to get in a back window. I told myself that I wasn't going to be afraid. I was going to show him that I'm not scared of him, that he lost that control. But I always thought about the worst scenarios. What was going to happen? My cell phone didn't charge the night before, and I remember being so angry that it hadn't charged. And I turned my phone on, and it's beeping nonstop. And there was numerous messages from my mom and my aunt.
Hello? Jamie? Are you okay?
There's an incoming call, and I answer it. It's my aunt saying, where are you? Are you safe? Are you safe? Anthony's gone on a rampage. What do you mean? What do you mean?
He shot a bunch of people.
Anthony had shot 5 people. 2 of them died. 3 of them survived, but he had also kidnapped Brittany. Anthony had been seeing Brittany on and off, so the rumor mill is Brittany was visiting him, and one night she didn't show up, and that's what set this off.
Law enforcement responded to a series of incidents that began late last evening and ended with a shooting of 5 people and the beating of another man. The suspect is Anthony Lord, 35 years old, from Crystal and Sherman. He's described as 5'9", 260, blonde hair and blue eyes. If the public has any further information, please contact the Maine State Police.
That's one of the few news tidbits that I watched on Facebook. At that point, no one knew where he was. No one knew what was going to happen, who was safe, who wasn't. Ultimately, I thought he was coming for me or Maddie, or both of us. I'd hear bits and pieces that someone had been shot, and then not hear anything for the longest time. No one knew updates, no nothing. And just bunkered down, hoping and praying that he didn't know where we were. We received the call that he had been taken into custody. He had surrendered. And it was just a sigh of relief. There's no way a judge can let you off on this. There's no way. I can honestly say that's the first time I've ever seen that footage. I love it. I think they were too gentle. cuffing him. That right there was the beginning of my freedom. The chance for me to be able to live my life. And actually live it.
He had brought me to a remote cabin where he had strangled me with a seatbelt, tied me up in a cabin, and left me. He had assaulted me 4 times. And he shot Kyle right in front of me. I didn't have a chance to say anything or stop anything from happening. I have to tell my children why they don't have a father.
My heart aches for her in that video. And for her boys. No parent should have to explain something so horrific to their children. No one deserves that.
I want him to go to Bangor. You want to go to Bangor to do what? See Jamie. See Jamie.
So would you have gotten to Bangor and seen Jamie? Would you have used the gun to get her to tell you the truth? You would have used a gun.
It's too bad he didn't use that gun and shoot himself. He was too much of a coward to shoot himself, but he could shoot an innocent person. Sitting in a jail cell for the rest of his life is too good. He deserves to be in the ground. It was the biggest relief ever. There's no chance he's getting out. There's none. He can't hurt me, he can't hurt anybody else. But a part of me wants him to suffer. A part of me wants him to feel the pain that he's inflicted on not only me and my daughter, but those families. Him sitting in a jail cell for multiple life sentences is not enough justice. For days, it didn't really sink in. And I woke up one morning, and I got up, and I smiled, realizing that I wouldn't get hit again. That day, it hit me that I was going to be able to gain my life back. It feels like a lifetime of heartache. But I'm at a place in my life where I can be happy, and I don't have to be afraid. Me and my ex-husband are co-parenting. We do our best to make sure we get equal time with the girls. The only thing I can do from this point forward is push forward and do my best to leave the past in the past and continue to watch my kids be happy and prosper.
You can never understand what someone else goes through. The reason I want to talk about it now is because he's gone. He's dead. It's my way of paying him back. I agreed to do this because everybody's so convinced that he was just an unnatural human being, that he was evil, that he was bad, and he wasn't to me. He wasn't that to me at all.
He's never hurt anybody. For God's sakes, this is nothing. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do to him. He's never hurt anybody.
It's much, much easier for me to speak with strangers because they don't judge you or say, why did you stay? I just let myself down. I didn't. I just wasted my life. I wasted my whole life because I didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want to hear the truth. And I had been tricked. He was big, and he was strong, and he was bald, and he was muscular, and his arms were as big around as my waist. He was just so strong and so powerful, and he had beautiful radiant eyes. His legal name was Alvin. There were a lot of people who called him out, but I always called him Bud. Bud was everything this woman could have ever wanted. It was pretty ideal for me. Yeah. I was working as an in-home service.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi. Got your paper? Got your coffee?
He was living with his grandparents, and he was having a hard time working, caring for them.
Hi.
Hi.
Wow. This looks great.
Thank you.
His grandfather had Alzheimer's, and I was just going to help him around the house, prepare meals, and our eyes met, and I just got swooped right up.
Wow. You are amazing. You know that?
Thanks.
We dated a little. We decided that we enjoyed one another and that we might just go ahead and get married.
Have a great day. All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just wanted to be a good wife. That's all that kept going through my head. I just needed to be a good, faithful, loyal wife. It was a very typical day at his grandparents' home before we were married. I heard the door, and Bud's brother approached me.
Hey, what are you doing here?
I realized quickly that he wasn't there to visit.
Look, I gotta tell you something. It's about Bud.
What are you talking about?
He told me I shouldn't marry Bud because Bud wasn't the person I thought he was. You should not be here. You should not do this. Bud is not a decent human being.
Why would you say that? What is this really about? Did he do something to you?
Not exactly.
He had no proof. He just kind of said, there's a lot of things you don't know. Because he approached me in that manner, I had all my defenses up, and I said, I'm not listening to one word you say.
Look, he's a good man. I think you need to leave before Bud comes home.
I was in love. Everything was great. He was good to his grandparents, and that was a big thing with me at the time.
Take care of yourself, Jackie.
I didn't want to hear it. I was confused, and I talked to Bud when he got home from work.
Your brother came by today.
Oh, yeah? What did he want?
He
warned me not to marry you.
His exact words were, he just doesn't want me living here with Grandma and Grandpa. Bud's grandparents' property apparently was always in some kind of questionable situation.
Ever since I moved in to take care of our grandparents, he's been on my case.
As long as I stayed there and I was taking care of the grandparents, they couldn't ship them off to a nursing home and then do what they wanted to do with the property, with the money.
He had his way. They'd be out of the picture and he'd have their money. He doesn't care what happens to them.
There was a lot of hate, a lot of resentment. Bud said that it was just family rivalry.
I could never protect them from my family's greed without your help. Thank you for that.
And Bud and I just simply locked arms and moved on. My wedding was wonderful. I was filled with joy and love, and it was really, really a wonderful, wonderful day. The fact that his family wasn't at the wedding, I felt sad that they didn't want to share that happiness with him. But, I never saw any of his family after we were married. I never saw any of them or talked to any of them. And if I would have gone into the situation with a little bit more why, instead of okie dokie, I would have gotten a better picture of what was really going on. But I didn't. After we were married, I moved into the home with everybody. When Bud would come home from work, I was ecstatic. I would want to meet him at the door and take his lunch pail and how did your day go? But one night I was expecting to come home. The later it got, I thought, well, maybe he's held up at work. I tried to read a book, which I couldn't concentrate on what I was reading, and it got later and later and later and later. I just sat out in the living room and kept watching for the lights, wondering if he's going to come around the corner, if he'll be just driving in a minute. I was so frightened and so afraid that something had happened to him. He was gone the whole evening. It was fairly early in the morning when he came in.
Hey, where have you been? I've been up all night.
I'm sorry, I was out. I was out with the boys.
He told me he was just out with some friends and he drank a little bit too much, so he just stayed at his friend's place.
I forgot to call. I should have called. I know.
I've been worried sick.
I ate it right up. I was just so relieved that he was okay.
I didn't want to drive after drinking.
Okay, that was smart. I'm just glad you're home.
I was like, well then, it's better that you didn't drive. You had been drinking too much. It's resolved, there's no problem, it's not a big deal. The first time when this happened with Bud, it was at dinner.
It's beautiful outside today, wouldn't you agree?
His physical body was there, but he wasn't there. But he wasn't hearing me.
I took your grandparents to the park today. It was beautiful.
He just was stone cold quiet.
Bud, have you heard anything I've said?
Yeah.
I think I can describe this look in Bud's eye best by when you talk to people and they don't hear you. You can see in their eyes that they're not there. It would happen like once or twice a month. And when that would happen, I could tell that the next night he wasn't coming home. Bud would leave. It would be for something. I'm gonna go get dog food. I'm gonna go get cigarettes. And 9 times out of 10, he just wouldn't come back. But it never crossed my mind that Bud could be having an affair. He was just being a boy. He was just out with his buddies. I didn't have any problem with that at all. I justified everything. I found this piece of paper. It was a sheet of paper from the courts. It had all this prison stuff on it. And the Alvin Brown had been sentenced to prison for rape. I found this piece of paper. It was a sheet of paper from the courts. Alvin Brown had been sentenced to prison for rape. They originally convicted him for 6 years, but he got out in 4 years because of good behavior. It was like I was pushed off the cliff. And I left that paper on the kitchen table.
What's this?
Why don't you tell me?
When Bud came home, he's like, "Where did you find this?" And I said, "In the bottom of the closet."
Did this really happen? Were you arrested for rape?
Yes.
And he's like, "Well, honey, I got convicted of this, but I didn't do it. It was all circumstantial evidence. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It didn't happen." I thought that I really didn't know who he was. And I even said that. "Is this what your brother was trying to tell me?" And he said, "Probably."
Did you do it? Did you rape that girl?
No. And I know this looks bad, but you've got to believe me, they got the wrong guy.
I never had any reason to doubt anything that Bud told me.
Okay, then.
And even if Bud had done this crime, he was punished by society in the appropriate manner, and he went to prison. He did everything he was supposed to do. What happened in his life before I met him should have no effect on how I feel and what I do today. And that's how I justified that. It never came up again. Eventually, Bud's grandparents were removed from the home and placed in a nursing home. I would make trips to the nursing home on a regular basis to make sure that they were getting outstanding care. Bud began not coming home 2 times a month, 3 times a month. One day, I was going shopping or doing something, and I went and got in the truck. And as I looked down, I noticed that there was a pin. It was a fascinating piece of custom-made jewelry. I looked at the pin, front and back, and I was somewhat confused. It wasn't my pin. And so the end of the day came around.
This was delicious, hon.
And after dinner, I kind of put it down, slid it on the table.
Who does this belong to?
And he was quick.
It's my buddy's little girl. I gave her a ride home the other day. Must have fallen off in the truck.
And I thought for a couple minutes. I looked at the pen. It wasn't a little girl's pen. It was an adult woman's pen. But I think what it was is his response time was phenomenal.
You don't want me to see him tomorrow? I'll give it back to him then.
He didn't even have to think about it, and it was there. Nobody ever said another word about it. And I never found anything else. As I think back now, I'm just like, oh my gosh, had you been that gullible that you something didn't click in your head to say to you, get a hold of it, girl. Something isn't right here. Something's not matching up. One day, he had come home from work.
Hi, honey. Welcome home.
Hi.
How's work?
It was okay.
And I noticed a fragrance in the air. It was a female smell.
What does that smell?
He said, well, why would you say that? And I said, because I smell something on your clothes that smells like a woman. And the pen is still like wandering in the back of my mind.
Oh, there's this new girl at the office. She must bathe in this stuff. I'm sure the whole office smells that way.
My way of coping with things was pretty much not dealing with them. If a second thing would have happened after that, that was a clincher.
I'll take a shower.
But after that occasion, nothing like that ever happened again. And so again, I let it go. I let it all go. Because when we got in front of a minister, in part of the wedding statement, it said, I won't ever leave you until death, and then we'll meet again. I had a lifetime of a commitment. Not 6 months, 6 years, but a lifetime. We were in bed. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning or something. Bud and I were sound asleep.
What's that?
There was this pounding and beating on the door.
Stay here. I'll go check it out.
And so, of course, Bud got up, went to the door, and answered, and the police just come storming in. To be awoke in the middle of the night by something that startling was almost heart-stopping. I was so startled. I remember myself just constantly saying, what's going on? What's going on?
What's happening? What's going on?
They arrested him. They put him in cuffs. And then I got that look from Bud. All he said to me was, come down to the jail and pick me up. And then they took him.
Come pick me up tomorrow morning.
But they didn't keep him. I drove down in front of the jail. He came out, got in the car, and I took him home.
Thanks for picking me up.
Explain this, Bud.
In the car, I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "They're trying to get me for stealing."
You don't know the whole story.
What is the whole story?
They like me for this robbery case.
And I'm like, "Okay, did you do it?" He says, "Well, no. This is all a setup because of my old crimes, that they're trying to get me for something somebody else did."
They let me go. I didn't do it.
Let's go home. I was just so overwhelmed. I was like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want anything to do with it. We're going to continue with our day like nothing happened. But that's when the emotional separation started. From that day on, it changed me more than it changed anything. After this police invasion, I found myself constantly looking out the window, opening the door, checking the garage. And I saw the police often. They wouldn't have their searchlights on, they would just be driving by very slowly. I became paranoid about undercover agents, about secrets.
Hey, Bud?
Are they gonna come beat on the door? Are they gonna take Bud again? Or like, what's gonna happen?
That's the second time I've seen a cop car drive by today.
And I found myself questioning him a lot more after that. Like, what's going on? And he would just say, well, it's their usual neighborhood watch stuff.
It's probably nothing. It's all in your head.
You're probably right.
And I always dismissed it as they were always there, but I had never realized it before. I'd never connected it as him being bad. He could never be anything other than what he is to me, because I knew him, I thought. I would crawl into bed with him at night, and he slept sound. Real sound. I've always thought in my mind, if any person is out doing anything that's not right, that they can't possibly sleep sound at night. Because Heavenly Father's not gonna let you sleep, because that guilt is gonna just get you, and it gets you most at night when you're sleeping, when all your guard is down. I honestly feel that assured me that he wasn't doing really anything wrong. He was just out with the boys. And he wasn't possibly doing anything that was going to affect me in any way or hurt me. I made really solid excuses. I just could not process it. I couldn't get it out of my head. I didn't want to listen to it. I didn't want to hear the truth, because I knew the right thing of what I had to do, and I didn't want to do it. This was Christmas at my mom's in Idaho. Bud and I decided to go to my folks' for Christmas. I looked so forward to this trip and visiting with my family. It was the first trip we had taken, so everybody could just get to know each other a little bit better. And he had a great time visiting and eating, with my family. We played lots of games. One time we even tried to sing.
You have a new presents? You ready? You ready? All right.
And he showed me lots of laughter, and he had a great time visiting and eating, with my family. And out of the clear blue, he just said we're going home.
Jackie.
Yeah.
We have to go.
What? We weren't going to stay the length of our visit that we had planned. I mean, it was a great trip. We had a great visit. Everything was going ideal. He said, well, something has come up and I have to get back and take care of it.
We have to go now.
But we just got here. He never explained. I was very puzzled. But I wasn't going to argue. That wasn't what we were made of.
Okay. I'll just tell my family that you have a work emergency.
So I made the appropriate excuses.
Say your goodbyes, I'll pack the car.
Okay. Hi, so we have to go.
And so we did. We loaded up and went home.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as we got home, we unloaded the car, and he says, I'll be back in a few hours. I'm like, okay. I didn't question him, and we were still so in love. I was still blinded by things. I felt like that if I was more vigilant, I could then maybe find something or notice something. And there was a time the phone rang. Hello? And there was nothing. I'm like, hello? Nothing, so I hung up. The second call came moments later.
Hello?
Nothing.
Look, this isn't funny. Please don't call here again.
And then I said something to Bud about these calls.
Who was that?
Someone keeps calling, but they won't say anything.
And he's like, oh, well, I'll get the next call then if they happen to call back. It wasn't long after that.
Hello?
Bud picked up the phone. He's like, hello? He didn't say anything else.
Wrong number.
Then that clicked. That somebody was calling that wanted to talk to him, not to me.
I got a lot to do today. I gotta go.
And then soon after that, he left. He had something else going on that I wasn't involved in. I was down in the basement, tidying, fluffing, doing what I do. I picked up the cushions on the couch. I saw a syringe. And I thought, oh my gosh, he was doing drugs. It kind of all fell into place. All of the things that he was doing. The distant look in his eyes, secrets, whatever it is that he had to go do away from the home, I thought it just had something to do with drugs. When Bud got home from work, I said, hey, look what I found.
Drugs? Drugs, that's what you're doing now?
What are you talking about?
I found this in the basement.
I said, what is this from? And he said, oh, it was from a long, long time ago.
I admit I used to fool around with stuff like that, but I haven't in years.
I said, no, I don't think that's possible because there's still a bit of liquid in the bottom of it.
Stop lying to me.
thought, this is it. This is the end. I hit him with the whole ultimatum.
You need help. You need to check yourself into a drug clinic, or I'm going to leave you.
And I remember him just standing there and looking at me. And I just looked at him and said, get out of this house because I am done. He was crushed. And I left. I was trying to make a point with him. I went to Washington. My folks had a cabin up in the Blues. I just stayed there for a few weeks, tried to get my P's and Q's together. But never at any point did Bud say, drugs are my problem. I wanted to make sure he was okay.
Who is this?
Hello, Bud?
This man picked it up, and he said, who is this? And of course, me being me, I'm like, yeah, no, wait a second. Who is this? Who are you, and what are you doing answering this phone?
Where's Bud? I want to talk with him now.
He says, well, you're not talking to him because this is the Portland Police Department, and he's going with us. What was the police department doing at the house?
Where is he? Let me talk to him.
I thought, did he get busted for drugs? That has to be it. My panic button went off. And off to Portland I went. I drove straight through. Didn't stop. I got to the house, and I opened the door. There was a number of policemen. The whole house was filled with these black lights, and I was kind of freaked out because I didn't know what was going on. And then this big, huge cop came out.
What is this? What is happening?
Ma'am, I need you to step outside.
I said, this is my house. My name's on the lease.
Ma'am, this is an active crime scene. I need you to leave. Please back up.
My husband. Where is he?
And I'm like, where is Bud? Where is Bud? And they're like, he's in jail. And at that point, I realized this is not good.
35-year-old Alvin Brown was arraigned today on robbery and theft charges. Brown allegedly picked up a woman, drove her to I-5 and Southwest 22nd, took her purse and forced her from the car. Brown is also a suspect in an alleged rape case at the same location.
He was arrested for throwing this woman off of a bridge. But she didn't die. It actually wasn't too long after we had separated. I saw him in jail, but said, I didn't do this. I didn't hurt this woman.
But there's more. 10 years ago, Brown was convicted of raping a 15-year-old girl in Southwest Portland. A month later, 4 women were killed within 30 days of each other. 17-year-old Kimberly Stevens, 17-year-old Melania Christ, 31-year-old Noreen Davis, and 57-year-old Sheila Burnett. Detectives working the cases believe Brown is their killer.
I kept the televisions off. I didn't even listen to the radio because I didn't want to hear. It was all this negative stuff. I wasn't going to listen to any of that crap. Nothing. Because if this had happened, murdering people and burying bodies and horrific crimes, it happened before we were married. My life during that time was very, very difficult. I was in the garage, and this man came up. He had this microphone, and he said, "We want to know what you think." And I was shaking so bad, and I was trying to talk, and I just lost it.
He's never hurt anybody. For God's sakes, this is nothing. I mean, I don't know what they're trying to do to him. He has a record from his past. He's never hurt anybody. I just don't know why they won't let us try to live our lives. And because he's an ex-convict, they call him Slime?
Oh, I'm just trembling. How odd. I began trembling. I heard myself say there, why can't they just let us live our lives? He was never horribly evil to me. That was why I stood up for him and I in a relationship, because I knew how he was to me. I actually couldn't live under that kind of scrutiny, so I moved. I left. I couldn't stay there. But some family members were like, "Well, didn't you know?" I'm like, "Know what? Suspect what?" There was nothing. Bud was never aggressive with me. He never yelled at me. It wasn't who he was. That's the blank, empty stare that I spoke of. That's the stare. I never saw this picture before. Today. It's just sad. It's just so sad. He had so much to give, and he just cut his life so short. He just gave up. I was always his wife as long as he was alive. I was never let out of my bond until he died. My commitment to him just was always there. In God's eyes until death. I don't want to think about it. I'm going to get up and put my shoes and socks on the same as everybody else. That whole experience with Bud, for me to put it into a process where I can live with it, I have to keep it a certain way. In my head. And I keep happy pictures of him and I. I keep happy things of us. When he was there, he was a good man to me. He was a good man to me. He was a good man to me. He was a good man to me.
It feels like a nightmare that I can't wake up from. It doesn't feel real. You don't know what it's like to get up every day and know your sister did something like that. I'm classified as Louise Turpin's sister. I no longer have a name. That's how I feel. But you don't know me.
A house of horror. That's how some people are describing conditions inside the Turpin residence.
I am angry, and I feel sorry for the kids. So much could have been prevented if I would have spoke out a long time ago. I just didn't understand the sons. You wouldn't believe that somebody could actually do something that evil. It's just time for me to tell my side of the story. This is my dad, my mom, Louise, and me. I was the middle child of two sisters. They made sure that we were in church every Sunday and raised us up knowing the Lord and Christian beliefs. We looked picture perfect, but a lot of stuff happened in this house, so it brings back a lot of memories. My dad was always good to my mom. He never laid a hand on her, but there was a lot of arguing.
Juggle too many things. Can't you see that?
How hard is it to keep a damn house clean? I'm working.
When my parents fought, I was scared.
What else do you want from me?
How about dinner on the damn table when I get home?
I would just start crying, and Louise would come and cover my ears and eyes to keep me from seeing and hearing it.
Who is the one? They're the girls. Making sure they're doing their homework. What else?
Many nights, she would hold my hand all night for me to sleep. When she was holding my hand, I knew as a child that I was safe with her. She was my best friend, and she was the only one there for me. But something happened. Everything changed. By the time my sister got arrested, the look in her eyes and the expressions on her face were scary, evil looking. What went wrong? How did she become this person? These pictures make me cringe. These are my grandparents, my mother's parents. Mama and Papa. That's what we called them. He's smiling here like he really adores us. But we knew the truth. When I was a kid, I begged for a big wheel. And so we had a birthday party at my home.
Happy birthday!
My grandmother and grandfather brought this big package in.
We've got one more special present for you.
What is it?
And it was my big wheel.
Grandpa, this is exactly what I wanted.
I was very excited, and I thought it was going to be one of the best days of my life. But it ended up turning into a nightmare. Papa never let me forget that was my big wheel, and it was from him. And later on that day, there was a price to pay. He took me in a back room.
Do you like your birthday present? Come, sit on my lap.
And then we would sit in the chair, lights would go off. He would hold me on his lap.
Don't worry.
He would put his hands in my pants or up my shirt, and I would always feel him breathing on me. When I started to make noise, I remember him putting his hand over my mouth, and he would whisper in my ear, "This means I love you." And then he would tell me, "Don't tell nobody." I remember telling Louise. Louise told me that she had been molested all her life by him. She just became so protective.
Elizabeth, I'd like you to come with me for a...
And there would be times that Papa would walk towards me and she'd put me behind her. And she would tell Papa, I'll go with you. And I started realizing she's taking the molestation from me. She was sacrificing her own self for me. And I've thought about that and thought about that and thought about that. I never told anybody. He never was charged with child molestation. And he died last year at 95 years old. When it came to Louise, I often wonder if it drove her insane and made her do the things that she has done. This picture was about 4 months before her and David started dating. She still looks so young to me. She still looks like a baby. David was 6.5 years older than Louise. A lot of people in town thought that the Turpin family was just like God's gift to earth. Like, they were the most Christian as Christian gets. I think she adored him because Louise was looking for a way out.
Elizabeth, come here.
Louise one day had called me. She had hollered my name to come here. She said, come in, I got a secret to tell you.
I have something I want to tell you, but you have to promise to keep it to yourself.
I was excited. I was always excited when she had a secret to tell me because it made me feel big, you know?
You like David, right?
And she was like, how would you like it if I got married? If I married David and we had a little baby and you could come over and spend the night sometimes and you could hold the baby.
A family? Wow, Louise.
And all this stuff. And she was packing her duffel bag. And then she went on to say, and don't tell anybody I asked you that. Don't say anything to anybody about me packing this duffel bag. This is our secret. Louise was only 16 years old when she told me all this.
Just remember, though, you promised not to tell anyone.
But I still didn't think of her packing because she was going to leave. I didn't put two and two together. The next day, Louise never showed up. She didn't ride the bus with us home. It clicked. I was like, oh my gosh, she's left David. This picture was actually taken at the end of the wedding. The police found Louise and David in Texas. When Louise came home, she immediately demanded that they let her get married. Daddy always felt like they would just continue to try to run away and be together, so he felt like it was better just to give them their blessing. So Louise got married at 16, and I think David was 23. I felt so many different emotions that day. I felt like I was losing my best friend and my sister and my protector and everything. My parents got divorced about 6 months after Louise had left, and my dad left the home. That's when the abuse of my grandfather was more focused on me, and I didn't have her to shield me anymore. This is Louise pregnant with her first. Louise always talked about growing up. She was going to have 12 children, and before you knew it, they had 4 kids. At that point in my life, I was in college, and I was fixing to take summer break from college. And I didn't want to go home to all the chaos. It just seemed like she was living the dream life. I just plain out asked her, I said, could I stay the summer with you so I don't have to go home? And it was that simple. That was how it all started. I really wrong. The person that used to protect me is now helping bad things happen to me. This is the day that we were leaving for me to go stay with Lisa and David for the summer. When I spent the summer with her, it changed everything for me. Within 24 hours from this picture is when I realized that Louise was not someone I wanted to be around.
What are we doing here?
David and I are just gonna go do a little gambling.
When I got in the car and we started heading back to Texas, they stopped at a casino and wanted me to babysit their kids in the car while they go in.
Seriously, you're going in there?
Oh, lighten up. It's just a little harmless fun.
That was very weird to me because growing up, David and Louise would have thought she was going to hell if you went to a casino. I asked her a couple times, are you joking with me?
We'll be back in a bit.
She said that they didn't go to church anymore and that she had changed a lot. It just got darker and darker. I was scared to open the door. I started wondering, I thought, man, they were taking a long time, you know, and I just made sure the doors were locked. And I fell asleep.
Morning, sunshine.
When they finally came out, it was daylight.
Where have you guys been?
Playing slots?
I was like, you left us in the car all night with the kids, and she kind of laughed it off.
Oh, you're fine.
I was upset, but I didn't show it. Here I am almost to Texas. You know, I have nowhere else to go. I really didn't want to create an issue or an argument, but it was very confusing for me. She was a complete different person than what I thought she was. I felt, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into? It was not just cluttered, it was just messy. Like papers all over the floors, dishes in the sink. I just remember thinking, wow, this is awful. I told her, I said, Louise, let's clean the house.
We should pick up a bit. Get this place under control? Yeah, sure. I guess it couldn't hurt.
And so that's what we did. We worked on the house for a few days. Then while she was doing that, I started seeing strange things happening. I didn't really get to know my nieces and nephews because she kept them so isolated. They were in their rooms most of the time.
Just leave her, she'll be fine.
The baby would sit in the playpen all day long. Nobody ever held it, hugged it, and played with it, and loved on it. And when I would ask if I could, I was told no.
Don't you think she needs a little attention?
I'm her mom, Elizabeth. I'll take care of it, okay?
Of course, I just wanted to help.
She told me it was because she didn't want my beliefs being rubbed off on them, our childhood beliefs, like about God and stuff. I was like, I'm not going to talk to your children about God. So I knew from that point on, I just did my own business. And the excuse I made for myself was, look, I'm not a mom, so I have no right to tell her how to be one. And that was what I told myself. And I just left things alone. me and Louise and David would sit at a table and eat. And the kids were always in their rooms. I thought it was odd.
Where's everyone else?
I remember the first time that happened, I was like, aren't you gonna call the kids down and feed them?
Do you guys eat separately or something? I'll get some. This is just how we do it.
And she was like, yeah, I'll calm down in a few minutes. Like it was no big deal. I feel bad. To me, the kids should be going first.
Okay, we finished up. Come on down for some supper.
Then how it worked was that she would calm down one by one. She'd call the oldest one's name, and she would come down. That was very weird to me. I didn't really know how to react to that. And then she waited for permission without asking. She waited for Louise to tell her to take a bite. She could eat now.
Go ahead.
I never saw them do anything without permission. I never heard them talk. Not even the oldest one. It was like they were forbidden to talk.
I love this stuff, don't you?
I remember asking Louise, do they ever talk? And she goes, yeah, if I tell them to talk to you, they will. It's like everything was controlled. And then when she got done, Louise never asked her, are you full? Do you want more? She would just say, okay, your plate's clean, go back up. And then she would call the next one down. In my heart, I knew something has to be really wrong. It was like they were programmed.
Louise, don't you think you guys are being a little tough on them?
I did ask why, but, she was just like, don't ask about my parenting.
Go ahead.
I had never heard Louise laugh like that before. It was just different. More of an evil laugh. About a week into living with Louise and David, that's when the rules were explained to me.
So listen, if you're gonna start working this summer, there's a couple rules I need you to follow, okay?
She just told me, don't have any friends, don't tell anybody where you live, don't give nobody my address, don't give nobody my phone number. You're not allowed to have phone calls here, and I don't want you dating.
Okay? I don't even know who I would talk to. You start meeting people, you start running your mouth, and I can't have that.
I don't know if she was afraid I was going to say something about the house or about things I saw. I remember asking her why, why can't I tell anybody where we're at or have anybody call me? And she says, we live a very private life, and that's how I want to keep it.
David and I keep to ourselves. We don't let other people in our business, so I'm gonna need you to do the same.
Okay. But she also wanted me to get a job, so she took me to and from work, and she watched me real closely. And she told me basically that if I didn't obey her rules, there'd be consequences. You won't have a place to live.
Got it? Hey. Got it.
So I had to respect her rules. I didn't have anywhere else to go. David began to watch me and say some really awful, nasty things like, he shouldn't be saying to his sister-in-law. I was getting into the shower to go to work, and I heard somebody coming in, and I hollered and told them I was in the shower. And the door opened.
Who is that?
And Louise and Dave walked in.
Are you insane?
I was in total shock. I was like, what are you doing in here? Get out.
Let's get a good look at that body.
He would ask me personal questions about my body, and I wouldn't answer him.
Come on, we're just having a little fun.
Leave me alone!
And then he'd make comments about how good I'd be in bed. And you know what they say about redheads, they're wild.
Come on, I bet you're a demon in the sack, huh?
Stop it!
And it would make me real uncomfortable. Louise supported him in the conversations. Louise would be like, yeah, I bet she is good in bed. And I would get upset and start crying.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop!
He just started laughing like an evil laugh, especially Louise. I'll never forget it. I had never heard Louise laugh like that before. It was just different. More of an evil laugh.
Louise, make it stop!
It took me back to that childhood mode where with Peppa, it was making me feel like I was molested all over again, just in a different way.
I want to see it! I want to see it!
I really felt betrayed. The person that used to protect me is now helping bad things happen to me. I knew there was no way for me to get out before the end of the summer, so I thought I would just have to wait. When I would talk to my parents or anyone on the phone, I was not allowed to talk in private. Louise was always sitting right next to me.
How's it going over there? You getting on okay?
My parents were expecting me to go back to school, and Louise was making it impossible for me to go.
Me? I'm good. I like it here.
She wouldn't give me a ride anywhere, and I was young, and I didn't have any way to buy my ticket. She said that, I didn't need to go home, that was my home, and then she's kind of left it off like, I guess you're stuck with me.
She's got the kids and could use some extra help. This is just what I want to do.
I just told my parents that I couldn't come right now, that I'd have to take another semester off.
I'll talk to you soon.
I felt like I was imprisoned, almost. I had no way out. I was trapped. It was scary because you're really playing with the devil. My life just went from normal to hell, like within a second. When it was time for me to go back to school, they didn't allow me to leave. It was like I was being held prisoner. But at work, I had met a guy named Jonathan, and we started dating.
Well, I'm really excited to see this movie.
I'm excited to go, even though I don't like scary movies.
You'll like this one. Anyway, I'll call you later.
Louise, what are you doing here?
Louise, caught me with him because she apparently had stayed in the parking lot to snoop on me, and I don't know how many times she'd done that.
Didn't I tell you the rules? No phone calls, no boyfriends.
I'm sorry, I just...
No, I told you there'd be consequences.
She was really furious. She was yelling at me.
I'm sorry.
I told you my rules. You disobeyed me.
Why are you yelling at me?
You don't respect me? Give me your keys.
What? Where am I supposed to go?
I don't care, but not home with me. Give me your keys.
She locked me out. She told me I wasn't getting my stuff back. I was left by myself. That really hurt me. I was very shocked that it had come to that. All because I had a boyfriend at 19 years old.
Are you okay? What happened?
I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with her. She just kicked me out.
Hey, we'll figure this out. You can stay with me.
Jonathan went and told his parents. I went to his house. About 9 months later, I married Jonathan, and we moved about 14 hours away for me to go back to college. I was just so relieved about getting out. I really didn't think about the children at all, like leaving them in that environment or anything. She had 4 when I moved out of her house. I was young and I just wasn't thinking about anything. Later on, I missed them and I thought about them and prayed for them and I worried about them. But at that time, I never thought Louise was capable of doing to her children what she's done. It was just like, I've got to get out of here. At this time is when I started cutting everybody off. I didn't talk to Louise for a long time. Several years went by. And then by the time I had children, she contacted me. We still had our problems, but we did speak every once in a while, and I did see Louise from time to time. It wasn't the same relationship as it used to be.
It's good to see you, Louise. I can't believe how long it's been.
And one day, it had been about 14 years. She came over, we were talking, and at this time she had 12 children. The kids were very quiet, waited for her to have permission to talk to me. It was a lot like it was in their home.
Hey, how are the kids? Are they doing okay? Yeah, why?
And I remember thinking that they were skinny, especially the oldest child.
Have they been eating much? I get plenty of food.
When I confronted Louise about the kids being skinny, she tried to play it like it was all hereditary. She said, oh, it's in our genes, being real skinny.
You just have good genes. What do you want me to say?
I just left it at that.
By the way, I pulled the kids out of school. I'm going to do it myself. You mean you're going to homeschool them?
But when she told me she was going to homeschool, an argument broke out.
Louise, they're not going to get a proper education. That's a terrible idea.
You have to be disciplined. You have to be responsible. You have to put your kids' needs before your own.
Listen, we've already made up our minds. We're actually moving to California.
What? California? Why? Louise had researched out what states they come and check on you, what states you have to turn in work. Because some states, you can homeschool your kid. They never ask to see any of the work. They don't come out and check on the children.
Look, do what you want with your kids. This is what I'm doing with mine.
Now that I'm older and I'm looking back, I realized she didn't want anybody calling CPS. She was going to make sure she was in a place where they did not check up on them.
Come on, kids, we're leaving. Louise.
And it haunts me now. For a long time, I felt like guilty because I didn't say anything, but I really didn't know better at the time. Like, I didn't feel like it was that severe that I needed to get authorities involved. This is them with 12 of the children, the 12 oldest children. I got pictures like this all the time. She would send pictures and videos of them at Disneyland. She would put all this stuff on Facebook, make it look like they were having a great time. I thought that they were happy and well fed. I thought over the years that things had gotten better. But my oldest niece Skyped with me one day.
How you doing, honey?
I'm okay.
By this time, she's like in her upper 20s, but she looks like a 14-year-old kid. But I didn't think of it as being like malnutrition or anything. I just thought that she was just small framed is what I thought.
So what's going on? Anything new?
Nothing new, just the same old stuff.
And she had her hands behind her back and she was just rocking back and forth. And I noticed that Louise was sitting real close to her.
Sorry, Aunt Elizabeth, I've got to go.
Hello?
You could tell that she was scared to answer a lot of the questions. It was just really weird. remember laying down on the bed beside my husband just to watch some TV. It wasn't even late. And somebody on Facebook, one of my friends said it, is Louise Turpin your sister? And before I could even ask why or whatever, I go through my news feed, and somebody I didn't even know that I was friends with sent an article where 13 kids have been starved and beaten and chained. And I thought, that's a sick joke. That's when it all started. I started getting all kinds of Facebook messages asking me if this was my sister. Earlier that day, I got a phone call from a California number that I did not recognize. And they left a voicemail, but I didn't listen to the voicemail right away. I thought it might have been a telemarketer or something. Then I got to thinking, I really should listen to that voicemail. And it was a woman saying, this is Riverside County Jail. It's about your sister. I called the number to the jail, and when they first told me what happened, she said, can you let all the family know because it's hitting national news?
On Sunday, January 14, 2018, just before 6 o'clock in the morning, a 17-year-old girl called 911 from a deactivated cell phone and reported that her siblings were being held against their will.
The story was that they chained and beat and starved their children. One of my nieces got out, climbed out the window, the bedroom window, after Louise and David went to sleep, and ran down the road with an unactivated cell phone that was in the home and called 911 on it.
They say the escape plan had been in the works for 2 years. The teen took one of her siblings with her, but that child got scared and turned back.
She didn't even know how to explain where she was. She didn't even know her own address. The police was able to track her and find her, and then she rode back with the police to the house in the car.
Investigators arrived, finding the rest of them, 13 in total, starving, emaciated, some chained or padlocked to beds.
The deputy that went to the house spoke with me, and he said that Louise and David were in shock because they were asleep when they got there. They had no idea this 911 call even took place. They were trying to hurry up and get them unchained, but they didn't succeed before the officers got into the home.
One of the children, at age 12, was the weight of an average 7-year-old. The 29-year-old female victim weighs 82 pounds. None of the victims were allowed to shower more than once a year. None of the victims have seen a doctor in more than 4 years. None of the victims have ever seen a dentist.
The couple is charged with 12 counts of torture, 7 counts of abuse of a dependent adult, 6 counts of child abuse, and another 12 of false imprisonment.
It's really hard to think that those babies that I held and rocked so many times to sleep, fed bottles, were treated like animals. This is David's mugshot. I remember thinking he looks like a serial killer or something. My mom used to say, oh, he's a Turpin boy. She couldn't get a better guy than a Turpin boy. That does not look like my sister at all. That's what it looked like when I saw her on TV, and it made me sick, and I busted in tears. To me, she looks evil here. I remember asking my husband, how is she smiling? She looks crazy. I thought, is this really possible? There's no way that Louise could have done that. There's no way. They've blown this way out of proportion. I remember wanting to go to the house to try to convince myself that this is real. And I walked around the house and looked in the windows. And when I looked in the windows, my breath was taken because I saw things. I thought, oh my gosh, this is pure evil. It was very, very nasty. And I knew immediately that my sister did a horrendous crime. I needed to see her for myself. I needed to look her in the eyes. And I needed to ask her, what were you thinking? What happened? What went wrong? I remember being a nervous wreck because we hadn't talked in 2 years.
Thanks for coming. It's really great to see you.
And she said that she was sorry.
I didn't mean to be so awful to you.
She said, something went wrong and I wish I could explain it to you, but I've been told to not talk about it. She told me that she loved me and has always loved me, and she knows that's probably hard for me to understand, which it was.
I hope you don't believe everything you read in the news. I know the truth. I was there.
She never came out and said she didn't do it. She never came out and said she did it either. And she says, I'm not who you think I am.
You'll never know who I am unless you give me a chance. What about your kids? Did they have a chance?
How I took that is she done it, but there was more to the story than what I knew. I think they deserve life. And that's really harsh for me to be a sister and say that. But I think that's appropriate. She deserves everything that she's got coming to her. My hopes for my nieces and nephews is that they will be able to live a normal life eventually and be able to put all this behind them. And I want them to know that I'll always be there. I want them to know that there is family out there that cares and that they are loved and that not all of us are like their parents. This picture is actually Louise holding me when I was about 1.5 years old. You can see her arms around me like I was her baby and kissing my cheek. It was the greatest woman in the world to me. Why did she protect me so much? She didn't protect her own children. I just don't understand. But I still love Louise. I mean, nothing ever changes the fact that she's my sister no matter what she's done. People don't understand, how can you get on camera and say that you still love your sister? They see who Louise is today and what she's done, that's all they know. But I've known Louise all my life, and I know who she was before. We really don't know why she's changed so much. I guess my biggest regret is not reporting what I saw when I lived there. You never think that somebody close to you could do something like that, but anybody's capable of being evil. You know, so much could have been prevented if I would have spoke out a long time ago.
This is the first time I ever opened up to anybody. I've got it bottled up for 20-some years. It's rough. I just wish I could talk about it, hit a light switch, and be done with it. But it's just, that's the light switch don't turn off. There's no explaining how much hate I got for that man. I was 8 years old and I woke my dad up with a snub nose 357. Hammer pulled back, loaded, and he talked me out of it. You know, he talked the gun away from me. I wish I would have pulled that trigger when I was 8 years old. If I would have pulled that trigger when I was 8 years old, none of this would ever happened.
Deputies searched for a body in what they believed was a swampy grave.
I blame myself. Can't stand that bastard. I grew up in a pretty large family. It was 12 of us, 7 boys, 5 girls. I'm the middle child, smack dab in the middle. My father was an ordained minister, and anybody and everybody that wanted a wedding in the community would come to my father. He would marry couples out front in the house. My mom would cook the food, and we're all dressed up, standing out there, while he's performing the service.
Ron, it's a beautiful day for a wedding. God has blessed you.
Thank you.
My father would stand out there when he was performing the weddings, just like any other minister. He'd have his white collar on, then he'd read a couple quotes out of the Bible. He was real religious and real polite. Everybody adored him and loved him.
You may kiss the bride.
I remember when this photo was taken. I looked happy in it. If you really looked, if you could look beyond them photos, it was, there was no smiles. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself, run. One night, we all went to bed. We had school the following morning. I woke up, I heard a noise on our roof. And me and my brother Matthew looked out the window. And there was this beast. It was all in black and tapping on the windows. It was one of the most scariest moments of my life. Woke up my mom and told her, the devil's outside. He's trying to come in our window, trying to get us.
The window! What? A monster! Okay, I'll look.
We pointed at the window, and when we looked at the window, it was gone.
What's this?
The boys thought they saw something out the window.
My father came in. He told us it was Satan that was trying to get in the house.
That was the devil trying to get in here. He's coming for both of you.
But my father told us, as long as we follow what he says and do what he does, that's not going to harm us. We have not a worry in the world as long as we follow what my father tells us to do.
You disobey me, then the devil has every right to come in here and get you.
So me as a kid, I want these creatures come down out of the sky and me, so I do what my father asked me to do. It came out years later that it was our father looking in the window. My father, he dabbled in cults. Everybody goes to church on Sunday, and we didn't go to church. We didn't go to Sunday schools. He was his own church. One day we were all out in the yard. He walked us over to the rock garden, and there was a statue of Jesus in there. Had his hands out like this. My father had a hatchet, and he swung down at it. My father busted the hands off of Jesus and told us that, God's not going to help you. My father told us, all of his kids, that he was the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end.
I am the only God you will ever know. Now, if you pray to me from now on.
He had all these powers. God speaks through him.
Fear me. beseech me. Revere me.
And everything he said, everything my father told me, I believed. He's my role model. I love my father. After that incident, everything started getting darker. It was like a whole other world. That's when things started getting crazy in the house. My father had us all gather in the dining room. There's candles and stuff around, and a pentagram on a table. I see my father coming down the hallway. He had a black cape on. I'm wondering why he's got this cape on.
Grab each other's hands.
He's reading out his black book. And we're all holding hands in the dining room when he's doing this.
Let my knowledge be my path into the darkness. Sacrifice of bone and blood.
And something was on the table. It was covered. Me being a kid, I really didn't understand what was going on, but when he pulled the piece of material, just a shock of fear went through me. He had our family cat, Misty, was right in the center of the pentagram, and Misty was dead. My father held the cat up and slit its throat and drained its blood into this, it was a chalice. And he passed the chalice around to each of us and had us drink the blood.
Blood for blood.
My heart's racing. It feels like I'm gonna get sick. But everything my father said, we did, we pleased him. He turned the lights back on, he threw the cat away, blew all the candles out, and we went on after that like nothing ever happened. He told us never talk about it, never speak of it.
Not a word of this will sleep from this house, or a sickening punishment will happen.
Shut up! Just snatches her by the back of her head, slams the door. Then all I heard was her screaming and crying, and it was a full-blown beating. When I was younger, my father had rules in the house.
Now this is a house of order. When I tell you something, tattoo it on your heart so you don't forget. Understand? You understand?
We couldn't bring friends over to the house. Don't leave the property. Don't talk about what's going on in the house. He didn't allow us to talk to nobody in school.
You go to school and you come home. No delays.
And my father gave all of his boys a quarter. And he told me, if you catch your sisters talking to anybody, I want you to call me. That was my father's biggest worry. If the girls are talking to somebody, they're talking about what's going on in the house.
This home is sacred, and everything that happens in it is sacred.
We're like my father's eyes when he wasn't watching them. There was always one of us in our classes, one of us passing them in the hallway. One day I saw my sister talking to her teacher, and it was outside of class. I called my father and I told him Sherry was talking to the teacher. And when we got home...
Dad, I'm sorry. I was just asking about my work.
Shut your mouth. Get out there. I told you never to talk to anyone.
He snatches her up, throws her down the hallway, takes her into his bedroom, slams the door. was her screaming and crying, and you could hear him yelling. It was a full-blown beating. I felt bad. You know, it was my sister in there. We're supposed to protect him. I thought to myself, why'd I call? You know, why didn't I just let it go? I did it out of fear. If I didn't tell my father that they're talking to other people in school, then it's going to be me in that bedroom. I didn't want that. In my household, it was survival of the fittest.
I can't believe he fell. He got all over his face.
Me and my brother Willie were walking down the basement. I mean, that was our hangout. And I heard my sister. We're trying to be quiet. And I looked down, seen my father having sex with Pixie. I see it with my own eyes. And me and Willie, we got scared. And we went back upstairs. And then he came upstairs and he was fixing his pants.
Hi, boys.
And then my sister came up a little while afterwards. From that day forth, my father is constantly having sex with her. There was a lot of incest going on in that house. You know, he's done it to me, and I didn't think it was abnormal, you know, seeing it done to my sister. You know, he'd take us in there and have us perform certain things. How could a man do that to his child? Every time I got abused, I didn't want to live anymore. I prayed to God every day that he'd just take my life. But I didn't want to live. As long as I can remember, we always had little dances. You know, listening to the 50s and the 60s music. All of us kids in the living room. My mom loved dancing. She loved dancing. There was no drama. There was no beatings. It was like we're in a whole different world. And then just one night, everything's going good. We're having fun. And then Pixie came downstairs. She comes walking in the living room. She has a wedding veil on. And my father announces, you know, that he was gonna marry Pixie. She's a young girl. She's 17 years old.
Family, I'm so happy to tell you that I'm marrying Pixie.
It was so quiet you could hear a church mouse fart.
We are gathered here to join in marriage.
My father performed a marriage ceremony, and she's holding his hands and he's holding her hands. And he says the whole wedding spiel, you know, the vows, and had her say some vows.
I vow I will honor and cherish you for all of my life.
My mom was beside herself when they did that. She couldn't look at none of us. She just kept looking at the carpet. She really couldn't step in. If she stepped in, she would just get beat. She was a victim as much as we was. I was so damn confused, it was crazy. You know, I'm thinking, my sister's gonna be my mom. You know, I'm gonna have two moms. I didn't know what to think. I was just a young, ignorant kid.
I will serve you for the rest of my days.
By my powers, we are consecrated in marriage.
But Pixie, she was happy. The most happiest time in her life. She was in love with my father. That's my father. It's after he, said the vows and everything and put the ring on her finger. He's got the biggest smile on his face. It makes me feel sick. How could a man marry his daughters? This one twisted individual. Sick. My father told everybody in the family that Pixie was pregnant by a man that was in the service. And the next thing I know, she's in the hospital having a baby. Then, maybe a year down the line, she was pregnant again. That time it was a guy from school. But we all know where the kids came from. They were our father's kids. And then the following summer, she's pregnant again. And that's when it got serious. The police came over, we watched them walk through the yard, and my stomach drops. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna get real bad. That's Joel. She met him in high school. Joel was a good guy. He was a real good guy. I wish Joel never would have met my sister. If I could reverse time and I could talk to Joel, I would tell Joel to leave. One day I saw my sister pull up and it was her and a guy, and I thought it was kind of odd because no one's allowed at the house.
What's going on?
Hi, Charlie. Joel's my boyfriend.
He told me, he was like, I love your sister. And one day I hope to marry her. And it kind of caught me off guard. I don't know why Joel thought it was his kid.
Pixie, Dad's not...
Dad and Joel are great.
Just want to be a part of this family. Yeah.
I think Joel was another scheme to cover up my dad having another child with my sister, Pixie.
Good to see you.
She had her first kid, it was like 11th grade, and then she was pregnant again in her senior year. School started asking questions, and my father told them the same stories he's telling us. He didn't want the truth to get out. One day, me and my brother cut a bicycle tire in half, and we knelt on each side of my windowsill, and I took a battery and put it in a slingshot, pulled back, and I let it go. And it slung across the fence and hit my neighbor and knocked him down.
Oh man, he's really hurt. What? Yeah.
And the paramedics showed up. The police came over. We watched them walk through the yard, and my stomach drops. I don't know how my dad talked him out of not arresting me. But then after the police officer left, it was hell to pay.
I told you never to draw attention to our family. You think having the cops show up is some kind of joking matter? You aren't ever gonna forget this again.
Then he threw us in a closet like we were luggage. And there was a spray coming up and under the door, and it was Raid. And it started coming into the door, and it started getting hard to breathe. We're in there for hours, it seemed like days. That was one of the most scariest moments of my life. I thought I was gonna die in there. And I don't know if the bug spray or, put me to sleep or if I just went to sleep. But we're in there for one complete night. We started talking about the government's going to come over here and we're going to have to fight for our land, protect our family.
Take a weapon.
He started training us how to fight, train us how to kill people, take a man's life with one blow, how to cut a man's throat, how to crush a man's esophagus by punching him. He had us shooting guns. We became pretty good with the guns. Too good. I thought my mission was protect my family, and everybody else is just everybody else. They came along, I don't care who it was, you come along with a badge and you're coming after my family. You're a dead man. What happened was my sister, Michelle, talked to social services in school.
Mr. Sexton, my name is Diane. I'm from Child Protective Services.
Told him what was going on, what our father was doing to us. And that's when they ordered my father out of the house.
No, you have a mistake.
Well,
I'm not going anywhere.
We have the police here that's going to escort you out.
You're going to have to go. They escorted him off the property and told him he was no longer allowed on the property.
Come on.
He was coming over at the house against their rules.
Dead. That's it. I'm sick of this.
I remember it like it was yesterday. He said, I'm done. I'm not going anywhere. I'm tired of them. They're not taking your kids off me anymore. And he ordered me and my brothers to barricade the house.
Go out back and get some wood. I'm gonna block up all these windows. Go, now!
Had us board up all the lower windows in the house. And then he made the phone call to the Jackson Police Department. And he's cussing at them, calling them everything in the book. Telling him, he's not leaving his property.
You come and try to take me out of here, I will leave a trail of bodies from where I am back to my family.
The Jackson Police Department, they evacuated the whole street, had everything blocked off. The instructions my father gave me was one shot, one kill. Anything moves outside, anything comes close to the house, shoot it. The Jackson Police Department, they evacuated the whole street, had everything blocked off.
Charles, they make a move towards the house, you take them down.
My father said if there's any authority that even remotely gets on the property, shoot to kill. I'd see things move outside. I'm thinking it's police officers trying to sneak up on us. The standoff lasted for 2 days, and we were scared. And then he gets a phone call from one of the deputies.
Yes.
And then that's when the deputy showed up at the house. My father told me if he dips his head, pull the trigger and take out the deputy. And if he would have dipped his head, I would have took that deputy's life. But the deputy talked my dad down, like had him come outside and surrender. And that was the biggest sigh of relief, like a movie, a happy ending. It was like a whole different life. we were free. And after my father got bonded out, he returned back to the house. He told us the FBI is looking for him, and then he starts talking about, the war. No one's going to split his family up.
Very good.
We took those weapons and loaded everything up in the motorhome, and everything just went downhill. We're in the campground. The baby was crying, and it irritated my dad. And he told Pixie, shut the baby up or I'm gonna come back there and shut it up. And she put her hand over its mouth, over Skipper's mouth. And Skipper shut up.
What's going on?
I heard a big scream, and she's screaming over the baby, over Skipper, and Skipper's all blue.
Is he? He's gone.
And I look at Skipper, and my dad told me that he was gone. There's no help for him.
Put him in that.
No.
Do it.
So my sister put him in a duffel bag. Put a pacifier in. Wow. Give me a second. My sister Pixie put a pacifier in Skipper's mouth and put a rattle on his hand. And my dad ordered me and my brother Willie to bury him. So we took the baby back in the woods. And we dug a hole. And we put Skipper in the ground. Oh, I can't do that. That's what Skipper was buried in. Yeah, I recognize it all. It's embedded in my memory. It's everything that baby wore when I put him into the ground. This child was real innocent. He was brought into just a crazy, evil family. I mean, there's no words. It's just sick, twisted. I don't even want to really look at it. I don't want their memories. Joel was beside himself.
Joel, calm down. It's okay.
How can I be calm? This is my child. I'm not letting you bury him in the dirt in some bag.
He wanted to go dig the baby back up and drop him off at the police station.
They'll be able to help us.
No, the police can't help.
Joel thought Skipper was his son, but he wasn't. He was my father's. My father, he's mad. He's trying to come up with something else just to shut Joel up.
Charles! Willie.
So he says, I got a plan. And we're all wondering what's his plan. He's gonna replace Skipper. My dad told me that he had a plan, to get another baby. He took me and Willie to Ohio, but I still didn't know what was going on. And then he stops right in front of my brother's house. My father performed a marriage for my brother Eddie. Eddie and his wife left years ago. My father told me to knock on the door. Eddie's going to answer it, and you're going to shoot him. And you're going to take his baby, his youngest son.
When I tell you to do something, do it. Give me a hand, boy.
He wanted me to take my brother's life and take his youngest son to replace Skipper. And I knock on the door. I'm scared, hands sweating, heart's about to come out my chest. Thank God he didn't answer the door. If my brother would have answered, I would have put a hole in him. I would have took my brother's life. That's how much control he had on us boys. Whatever he said, we'd do. I don't care what it was. So we go back to Florida. No baby in hand. And that's when he started getting real nervous.
You want him to ruin this family?
No, sir. My father told me and Willie that we got to get rid of Joel. As if not, he was going to go to the authorities about Skipper.
Take Joel on a walk.
My father ordered Willie to take Joel out in the woods.
Man, let's go for a walk.
I was supposed to stay at the campground, but I followed him back into the woods. I'm standing behind this tree. I'm scared to death. And then I heard, man. I heard Joel scream. And that's all he got out was a scream. Willie had the noose around his head, around his neck. My father was standing back and was holding the gun up to my brother. And I told him, finish him or I'm gonna finish you.
Do it!
And Willie's crying, but Willie's doing what Willie was told. And then, after Joel was dead, my dad had me go back here and help Willie bury Joel. And that was the end of it. Joel worshipped the ground Pixie walked on. I mean, he loved her to death. He never deserved it. He deserved a happy life. My parents were arrested for abducting us kids, kidnapping, child abuse, child endangerment. I mean, multiple counts of every charge. But no one knew about the deaths of Joel or Skipper. So when I was talking to the state prosecutor, at first, I was scared.
Just tell me what happened.
I don't know if I can do that.
It was like having a bird. This bird's, its whole life is in this cage. And then one day you just let it go.
Little Skipper's dead.
How did that happen?
I told him everything, and Pixie killed the baby, how Willie killed Joel. I told him everything, as far back as I can remember. I felt free.
What happened to the baby? Did you kill that child? What happened to the child? Did you kill your child? Did you kill Joel? What happened with Joel? Come on, you can talk to us. What happened? Did you kill him?
My mom got charged with multiple counts of child abuse, fleeing the state of Ohio, aiding a known felon, abduction. I mean, they racked my mom with charges. I've never had anger for my mom. She wasn't an abuser. She did 22 years in prison for absolutely nothing, protecting her kids. the best that she could.
Did you know your grandchild was dead?
No, I just found out about all of it today.
Did you know any of this was going on? Did you know your son-in-law was dead?
No, I didn't know about it today.
Who killed the baby?
Who killed the baby?
I don't know! You're gonna have to talk to my son and my daughter. I don't know.
Did they kill the baby?
I don't know. I'm not saying anything else.
It's the first time I've seen her. I don't know why she didn't tell the truth. I mean, she knew the baby was dead. She knew Joel was dead. That don't make any sense. That's something that's gonna bug me probably for the rest of my life. Why did she say that, you know? I don't know why.
Did you tell your daughter to stop the baby from crying, and did your daughter kill that child?
No, I did not tell my daughter to quit making the baby cry because I didn't even know it was crying that night.
Who killed the baby, Eddie? No one that I know of. What happened to the baby?
This lying bastard. I've never seen that video. When I first heard his voice, I got nervous for a second. But I got so much anger for that man, I can't stand him. When my parents first got arrested, you know, I'm out there by myself, and my world was lost. I was 18 years old, and I tried to commit suicide, and it didn't happen. And, you know, the gun didn't go off. It was loaded, but it didn't go off. That right there told me that God has something out there for me. Maybe it's this interview. You know, maybe this interview will touch one person. Maybe it'll touch half the world. I'm 42 years old now, and you know, I'm doing good. I'm married. I got a son and a daughter. And I couldn't even imagine something happening to one of my kids. Us Sexton kids, you know, we're not Eddie Sexton. We might be, you know, his children, but we're not him. He should have died a brutal death. You know, instead he dies in his sleep. And they say forgive. Forgive and forget. There's no way you can forgive. There's no way you can forget. It's not in me. I cannot forgive that man. And I believe in God 100%. But I will not forgive Eddie Sexton. Ever. I'll take my last breath hating that man.